When you're young, you're often told that you can be anything if you work hard enough. You can be a football star or an astronaut or a singer just as long as you don't give up on your dream. Parents and teachers feed these kids all these ideas, mostly in hopes that they'll turn out better than they did. Because chances are they had dreams that didn't come true, and that haunts them. I had a rather dull childhood. I was homeschooled, and while there wasn't the worst experience in the world, it was a little isolating. I didn't get to see my friends as often as other kids, and every day just kind of felt the same since I was stuck at home. So I entertained myself with stories. I read books or watched movies about ordinary kids being swept away on these grand, amazing adventures, and I used to think that's what I'm meant for. That's what everybody's meant for. It's a ridiculous way of thinking, but I guarantee you fantasized about this at one point. We all crave that great adventure, otherwise we wouldn't tell stories to begin with. So I tried searching for my story. I'd explore abandoned buildings, I'd conduct paranormal investigations, I'd run off into the woods in search of something magical. And I had my adventures, but I never found it, that grand story. So I decided to create my own. I got into writing and filmmaking at a young age, and a lot of people told me I was good at it. And I believed it. I thought, this is what I meant to do. This is how I could finally act out those great stories. I directed this one short film called Animal Instinct, and for a 17-year-old, it was alright. There wasn't anything special about it, but somehow when I submitted to the 2016 Rochester Teen Film Festival, I won Best Director. I thought, okay, this is it. This is my dream. I'm going to be a filmmaker come hell or high water. This is my adventure. And I sure as hell tried. I made more films, I got a little bit better at it, I networked with other filmmakers, and I got this job retrieving shopping carts to pay the bills. And that job kinda sucked. I wasn't allowed to listen to music, so 90% of my day I was spent doing the same mundane task over and over. At first I disliked it, then the longer I stayed there I began to loathe it. A lot of jobs have a way of killing you as slowly as possible. I hated the monotony, the meaningless of it, how I'd count the hours until I could leave. That lit a fire under my feet, and I thought, if I just work hard enough on my dream, I won't have to do this anymore. And now I'm 26, and I work as a janitor at a college. 40 hours a week, I clock in at exactly 4 p.m., and I'm not allowed to leave until exactly midnight. We all wait in line at the punch clock at the end of our shift, watching every second tick by, knowing that's a second we'll never get back. I've actually gotten in trouble for clocking out 10 seconds early. Every Monday, this great wave of despair washes over me. I think to myself, this can't be it. This can't be all there is. Let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with being a janitor. We wouldn't have civilization if no one scrubbed the toilet. There's people who find this work fulfilling, and they should be proud of what they do. But it's not a life that fulfills me. It's a life that drains me, that slowly murders any sense of joy or adventure or purpose that I had. So what happened? I failed. My dream of becoming a filmmaker never took off. I'd upload films to YouTube and no one would really watch them. I'd submit to film festivals and I wouldn't be accepted. I tried to network with other filmmakers, but, being homeschooled and autistic, I came across as awkward and as an amateur. And that's exactly what I was. I had this delusional fantasy that life would be this amazing adventure, and I'd do all these great things, and it just wasn't that. After all, it's not like I was anyone special. When I pass by college students in the hallway, so many people just have this dead look in their eyes. They don't talk to you or even smile or look your way. Everyone just seems so wary. I wonder what dreams they had. I wonder if they still hold on to them at night as they push through difficult exams and back-breaking work. I wonder how many of them will succeed. I wonder how many of them will fail. We tell so many stories about victors, but so few stories about failures. Who would want to hear a story about a failure? We want to be inspired. We want to believe that we can overcome the mundane drudgery of life, that somewhere out there is a beautiful story that's waiting for all of us. For many, that story never comes. We live lives of quiet desperation. Much of my generation was told that the 20s would be the best years of our lives, and for most of us, that just isn't true. We work jobs we hate, we can't afford rent, we can't find love, we have no friends. We were promised much and given so little. I think people in the arts know this especially well. You spend every moment of your free time grinding away at your passions with no guarantee of any payoff. And as the years wear on, a slow, creeping dread follows you. You will never make it. You are destined for failure. I want to say that we will all make it, but we won't. Many of us won't achieve our dreams. This might happen to me, and it's been very difficult for me to accept. But I think we should persist anyway. There's no great story without conflict or struggle. Stories are about growth of a character, and there is no growth without trial. There's currently 8 billion stories going on all at once. Billions of stories stretch out into the past, and billions more will extend into the future. This might make you feel insignificant, that you're one drop in a limitless ocean, but an ocean is nothing more than a multitude of drops. Often, characters in a story don't always comprehend their significance. We relate to them because they too are vulnerable, they too feel our despair. Yet I don't think stories of triumph could resonate with us if there wasn't something true about them. Storytelling, after all, is telling the truth with a lie. This might sound like the deranged ramblings of an autistic janitor, but we have no right to say that we are insignificant. We have no right to look up the billions of stars and declare our lives as without meaning. Everything we do in this life will echo into all eternity, whether we like it or not. The art you might make might not be remembered. It may be forgotten as soon as you are gone. But if you show it to someone, and it changes them, or it gives them a new perspective, or it makes them feel something, it's not in vain. For that small piece of beauty, of goodness, can carry on forever. Most of this good in this world is owed to those who lay in unvisited tombs. Maybe I'm being dramatic, or I'm not making sense, so I'll boil down my message to this. Persist. Persist regardless of success, regardless of failure, regardless of what the world demands of you. Persist because you have a place in this world, because you're here for a reason. Persist and create art, because you might be changing the world and you won't even know it. Besides, what else can you do?